Hello in 2 seconds. Or should I just go? Should I go faster?
Yeah.
Go?
Yeah.
Go. Hello. So this is the 3rd general meeting for ACM. Is it? No, 2nd general meeting. This will be 3rd. We're going to cover a couple of things, and then Varun will be speaking because he has to talk about some really cool stuff. Nobody's controlling the thing. We're going to try and keep this quick. So we have a couple of things coming up pretty quickly. These are things that we're sort of trying to do. So we put together an event for next week on Friday. That will be a board game night / movie night. It's just going to be sort of a start of the semester event to get people here and talking and to meet each other. That will it's next Friday. Not much to talk about. That.
To clarify, it's going to be at 6 p.m.
No, we didn't put it on the Indeed. So yeah, that'll be 6 o'clock and it'll go several many hours.
So it's 6 p.m. in this room.
The other thing is, this is related to the GDC field trip. So for the GDC field trip, that'll be mentioned the day before March 3rd, and it's going to be the Friday in San Francisco. It costs money to get in, and it costs money to travel there. So there's a method of reimbursement called SAD funding thing stuff that Tanner can talk more about because he does more.
Okay, cool. I'm just pull up a sample one. Where's the actual CD? Yeah.
Talk about it.
All right, cool. So the SAD funding stands for Student Academic Development. It probably says that related activity. Here's how it looks. Someone get on the computer. I'm gonna scroll down for a bit. So here's what you do. This is the form you're gonna print out. This is the form for the 2016-2017 year. So basically, it's gonna general stuff, information about you, your contact info, all that, to verify you're actually a student here and all that. What kind of event are you going to? When are you going to the event? And how much do you expect it to cost? Pretty much gas, any tickets you have, how much it's going to cost to get in. It's GDC, it'll be like $80 the day of. You're going to have to actually ask for an email from them. And lodgings, which can be like hotels and stuff. You can try to ask for funding for hotels. We haven't tried it yet. You can try it. And then go down.
Works.
Oh yeah, dates. So what day is it? If it's single day, like that. Total funding. You can ask for $300 in a year for SAD funds. They say that they usually only give it once, so shoot high. Yeah.
Don't
alright.
ask for too much. That is, we don't know exactly how much they're willing to give on this, and we know how much we've asked for before, and we haven't been turned down. Yes, John.
Shoot
They're
higher
willing
than
to
what
give you as
expect.
much as you ask for.
Say
So
what?
as long as it's within reason, they're willing to give you as much as that you ask for, so long as you ask for it first.
Estimate high, and they'll reimburse you the actual amount you spend. So they'll probably give you. And then after that, after you get all that signed, you basically have to like hand it off to faculty and all that. Just hand it off to us, and we'll handle submitting the rest of your paperwork. Can you go back a page because there's other forms you get submitted as well.
The first
SAD, yeah, personal statement and liability waiver. Cool. Personal statement. Talk about why the event you're going to is academically relevant to you. In terms of GDC, computer science connections, computer engineering, you can program. They make games. You program, you make consoles, all that. Just say that it's video games and you're interested in the field. That's how that goes. All right, go back. And liability waiver. This is in case you get injured, so you don't sue the school. It's a liability waiver. Those are things.
They're not complicated.
Yeah, just the same thing. And it doesn't matter. Scroll up a bit. Oh yeah, this is if you're under 18, the second page. Don't pay attention to the fact that that's old. It's the same thing. They don't care.
They didn't update that one.
Yeah. That's pretty much it for SAD forms. You need those 3 forms. Put it together, staple it, whatever. Don't staple it. I think paperclip. Just give us the forms together. We'll paperclip it, and then we'll do the rest of the legwork. Because if you try to do it on your own, there's like 7 departments you have to go to. I know because I failed and I walked to all 7 departments. Just give it to us. We'll handle the rest.
About transportation and getting there, we're looking to do carpools and whatnot. But if you have your own preferred form, like Andrew's been looking into taking a bus there, and other things that I don't know about, you can try that. Andrew's mostly been looking into different forms of transportation. application. So if you want to talk about it, talk to me. I dropped that thing. No, go back. So GD field trip, March 3rd, we talked about that. The other thing is the day after the GDC field trip is the Game Jam. Re-mentioning this, we finally have a date for it, March 4th. We had a date for it last time, but it wasn't actually in the email. That'll be the day after GDC because, you know, game development conference, game jam, game hype stuff, you know, try and group those together. I'll be participating because it's going to be fun. We don't know exactly what time during the day that will be to when. It'll go from morning to afternoon. It'll be a 12-hour-ish game jam. Still figuring that one out. Next. Journal meeting poll. So this is the last time that the journal meeting will definitely be at this time. The poll for figuring out when the journal meeting time for the rest of the semester will be is going to close this Friday, at which point, when we send the email on Sunday, it will have the journal meeting time for the rest of the semester. That's, yeah, basically. And
So,
Yes, and hello everyone. I'm the shadow coordinator. So we are still trying to recruit shadows for the club. If you guys were here for the first meeting, I'll explain it again. Shadows are the pre-positions before becoming officers of ACM, and so if you would like to become an officer of ACM, pardon me, please email shadowcoordinator@csus.acm.org and give me your information, your name, your major, expected graduation date, and like what dates you will be available. We'll try to be setting up interviews with anyone who's interested in becoming shadows. The deadline is February 17th, so you guys have about a week, which should be
it's the end of next week, Friday.
next Friday, yes. So as soon as the deadline reaches that point, I will look, whoever applied to become a shadow, I will look around, try to collect what times to interview each person who's interested to becoming a shadow. That's pretty much it.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Like, what's the expectation or responsibilities of the shadow?
So we're trying to curricularize the shadow program, but the overall information about what it is, you'll be expected to participate in the shadow meetings the shadow group meetings where you'll be learning from Andrew and other officers how the various hoops, that's the word, that's not the official word, the various things that you have to do to be an officer club on campus, because the nuts and bolts is not that great, to how to organize events, how to get stuff done in general, what the various officers do in ACM, as well as you're expected to, as a shadow group, put on a couple of events during the semester as well. And we'll be looking at how you guys communicate with each other, how you work as a group, and hopefully, and at the end of the semester, officers, hopefully, unless you're like terrible human beings. But I don't expect too many terrible human beings.
Okay, thank you.
Oh yeah, so this is a thing. So we're, like I said, we're starting we're getting the cybersecurity SIG group, special interest group, back together at ACM this semester. Josh is working on that effort. We have not put all of the stuff together yet, but they have spoken to us and mentioned that there is a CTF thing going on. Does anybody here not know what CTF is? Okay, that's all of you. So, sounds for capture the flag, but it's not like football capture the flag or anything like that. It's sort of it's a thing where you try and find vulnerabilities or something in a given task, and your goal is to complete the things to get points or something. It's sort of variable how various CTFs will be run. Would you like to explain more? Because I don't know about this specific CTF.
Yeah, so this CTF this weekend, I've started a CSUS team. We've competed in a few CTFs. This one's open to everyone, and we don't meet or anything, so if you sign up for the team, don't have time, it's not a big deal. You can just sign up, you don't have to compete. We've got a Slack channel set up. This one specifically, this weekend, is designed for beginner and intermediate CTF people, I guess. So it's a really good one if you've never done one. It's a lot of fun. Contact me, we'll get you on the team. If you don't have time to compete or can't solve anything, it's not a big deal.
Yes, so we will be giving more information about things like that and other cybersecurity things in the CyberSig, which we're working to start. It takes some infrastructure stuff that we're still working on. Hopefully we'll have more news for you by next week. Yeah, it's like something else. Shirts, yes. So ACM sells shirts. We used to have a ton of shirts that we ordered that we want to sell because people apparently like shirts or something. I don't know. So some of you have bought shirts last semester, ordered them, never got them. Talk to us. We will help you get your shirt. And if somebody handed us $10 last week and then walked away, whoever you are, Eric. Yeah.
That was me.
That was Eric. We can get you that shirt. For those of you who want to buy a shirt because it says ACM on it and I don't know, looks cool or something. I just like having words with shirts with the letters ACM on it. I don't know. You have to be a member and then you have to buy the shirt. It's the order. Shirts are $10. Membership is $5. If you're already a member, you don't have to pay us $5 for membership again. Though, so that's a good thing. Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
It's all about your name.
Do you go to your Go ahead.
SAD forms, do them in pen. Never pencil, pen.
Sorry, so the second second you should have Alright, hey everyone, I'm Varun. I'm a fourth year here. I guess I'm a second year transfer. I'm a senior. I'm going to be talking about the career fair that's coming up this Friday, and basically about how to prepare your resume and how to approach companies at the career fair. I'll try to keep this within about 25 minutes so we can have some time for Q&A. If you have any question at any time, there's a link up there. It'll be on every slide. So just feel free to write a question there, and in the end, I think Matt will go through and just pick some of them. I'll try to answer them the best I can. Next slide, please. So the first thing about like jobs and careers and resumes, everything is all about your mentality. Your attitude, right? So you'll get rejected a lot, right? So I applied to maybe 120 places for last summer, and I signed one offer, and I had a few to choose from. But that one offer I got was really good, right? But I got rejected at about maybe 60 companies just initially, right? So you can't beat yourself up whenever you get rejected. So if you feel like, oh, I'm not getting like interviews anywhere, don't stop applying, right? Just apply everywhere. Don't compare yourself to what offers other people are getting. And that's a very key thing that you'll find. So next slide, please. So the other thing is like, what do employers think of you, right? So let's try to go into the other perspective that, I'm an employer, I want to hire an intern, I want to hire a new grad. One of the key things that I've found when I've asked people is the way you work is much more important than what you know, right? So as an intern, they know you don't actually know anything. So despite the fact that you might be like the smartest person in your class or something, you're still probably a lot dumber than the dumbest person at their job. And what that means is that's actually a really good thing, right? Because that means that you can do whatever you want when you get there. You can fail, you can take down production, and they don't have that many high expectations of you. But it also means that you're allowed to take risks, right? You're allowed to try things you've never worked on before, and that's a golden opportunity you have at an early level in your career that you won't have at any other time. So group projects, showing leadership, these will take you a lot further than just having a list of classes and just a list of languages that you know, right? So this really shows impact. And yeah, so showing an attitude that you can learn is the most important thing, right? So having a good attitude and that like you have an ability to a curiosity, a sense of like you want to go out and you want to learn more things on your own. That's a super key thing that they look for. Next slide, please. So the next thing, I'm going to go over this really quickly because I know this is centered around the career fair, but just about job search. So yeah, apply everywhere, right? So there's like specific Google searches you can do to like find places that you want to apply to. So this is like one of the things that I did when I was finding data science internships, because those are much more difficult to come by than software engineering ones. There's a lot of job boards, Indeed, Glassdoor, AngelList, LinkedIn. So yeah, LinkedIn, one of the things I did is I reached out to alumni at Sac State that were looking at companies, and like for Airbnb, I got my interview through an alumni there. So definitely reaching out to alumni is a super good way to, but at the same time, you can't pester them, you can't be rude about it, right? Ask them about their job, ask them about how they got to that company, ask them about their education, and then like say, hey, like, could I get a referral, right? And then network, I'll talk about that briefly, but It's a lot simpler to get an interview if a current employee refers you to that position, right? So I know for my company, for this summer's interns, they had 3,000 applicants, and they filtered that to 100 phone interviews. So, and of those 100 they have, I think like 50 came from referrals. So already, if you didn't have a referral, you already had like a 3% chance. If you didn't get a referral, it was like half that. So that's super important to do, is like network. Next slide. So building a network. So people are like, build a network. I'm a college student. I don't know what any of that means, right? So despite not being in the Bay Area, despite not being in Silicon Valley, there are loads of ways that we can network here in Sacramento. First of all, it's like meetup groups, right? So why would I go to a meetup group? There's so you can learn new technology, right? So a lot of people say like, oh, what you learn in school isn't relevant to what's going on in the world. And going to meetup group is to figure out what is going on in the world, right? They'll talk about like, oh, our latest project uses Angular 2 on like, and then some other Node.js framework, which you probably would have never heard of in a class here. Also, like you can put yourself face to face with engineers at the company, right? So you want to get that referral, you want to talk to people face to face. That's the best way of communicating. And here's the meetup groups that I recommend. Actually, there's a few more that I'll go back and edit this slide. There's Code for Sac as well. But these are all local meetup groups. They're all super popular. They meet very regularly. Like at least 30 people show up to them, and they're all like very nice people. They're very friendly. Even if you don't know much, they're glad to welcome you. Another thing are hackathons, right? So there's still a few more coming up, kind of locally in Northern California, but you can get a lot of job interviews through hackathons too, by going there. And not only that, is that you have time to like work on 24 hours to build something you otherwise probably would be too lazy to do. So definitely go to hackathons. And then there's different kinds. There's college ones. You can find those on Facebook. There's private ones. You can there's GitHub repos, Eventbrite. You can find a lot of that over there. And obviously school clubs and students. So you probably know if you're in ACM and you're here right now, right? That we have school clubs. We have data science club. I think we have like a game development club that's starting up. So there are clubs that line up with your interests and to find like-minded students like you who want to network and make themselves better. Next slide. So now I'll get into the resume part. So this is probably pretty important for a lot of you. So how many of you have a resume that you like? Okay, so that's about 50% of you. Hopefully by the end of this slide you realize there are things you don't like about it by the end of these slides, and you can edit it before the career fair. Next slide. So what is resume, right? So a resume is not a list of things you've done and accomplished, right? Whenever I tell people this, they're like, what do you mean? That's exactly what a resume is. No, a resume is a piece of paper that is persuasive in nature, right? And it's like the impact of what you did is a lot more important than what you actually did, right? So, for example, say you're Barack Obama, right? And you say, created an Affordable Health Care Act, right? And I'd be like, oh, so what? Like, I don't even know what that means, right? And then what if you said, oh, I created the Affordable Health Care Act, which gave insurance to 5 million Americans who were previously uninsured, right? That second line right there told you the impact of the work that you did, right? That second line is what separates like a good bullet in a resume from a bad one. Talking about the impact, and I'll go a bit more into that. So yeah, every section, line, word, has a purpose, right? Ask yourself if what you're writing, that sentence you're writing, is that really useful? Like, how is this convincing an employer that I should hire this person? And that's a very important thing to know, is that being concise and being brief, yet being very specific at the same time. Next slide. So these are high-level rules. First rule, there's no set of rules. But here is what most people agree on, right? So if you take my advice and you go there and feel like, oh, I hate your resume, I'm sorry. But these are the rules that I followed, and they've worked out well for me. So one, keep it to 1 page. If your resume is more than 1 page, you probably won't get it looked at. If you're still in college, you probably don't have much experience. And if you have 10 years of experience, 5 to 10 years of experience, that's when you start adding on that second page in your resume. So I know there's this thing like floating around on LinkedIn about how like Elon Musk he had a resume, like a 1-page resume, right? And he's co-founded 3 companies, he's done a bunch of shit, and like it's amazing. Professional. So don't talk about your personal hobbies. Like if you like to fish, if you like to drive cars, like that's cool, right? But just don't mention that on your resume. I know a lot of people like to mention their hobbies because they want to be seen as like a holistic person and stuff. Honestly, that really doesn't matter, right? They're hiring you as an engineer, and when they interview you, they want to know what kind of person you are. Maybe at that point, that's something you mention that they ask you. And keep your language professional, right? So a lot of times people will use not very formal words, and that's probably not super beneficial. Another thing I should have mentioned there is consistency in your verbs and consistency. So like if you're doing something currently, right? Currently I am, and in the past you use past tense, and making sure that tense stays consistent throughout. And I know as like computer science majors, we all like to like Braille on English, but English classes are probably some of the most important classes you took in college. And so also clearly describe different sections, right? Like each section should be, so like your header, your education, your experience, all of these projects and extracurriculars. So this is kind of like, I think this is the way I have mine set up. Some people like to do accomplishments, some people, there's a few variations here and there, right? But you should definitely, I should be able to look at your resume and see where these sections are. Next slide, please. So header, so these are the things that I include in my header. So name, phone number, email, GitHub, LinkedIn, personal site. So if you don't know what GitHub is, it's a place where you can store your code online, pretty much. And so what it is, like as a computer science student, like how do I know that you actually coded before, right? Like you went to class, okay, big deal. Like a lot of people went to class. So GitHub is a place you can store the code you write, and people can look at it. And you can also make a personal website. So I think in my resume, my GitHub and my LinkedIn are linked on my personal site. So I just included my personal site. But these are pretty much the things you should have in your header. Also, make sure your name stands out, right? If I look at your resume and I don't notice your name, that's probably not a good thing, right? Because I should be able to know who am I talking to, and I should be able to associate like a face that you see at a career fair with the name on the resume. The easiest way to do that is making sure it stands out. Objective. So I don't have an objective on my resume, but for the sake of the career fair, I would specify whether you want an internship or a full-time position. But what I wouldn't say is I want to work on software that makes an impact, right? Like, so what? Everyone here does, right? No one's here to write software that doesn't accomplish anything, right? So in that sense, keep those kinds of objectives out of your resume. They don't create a purpose. Next slide. Education. So these are the things you should include. Your school, major. If you have a minor, include that. Your graduation date. And I would only put your GPA if it's above a 3.0. I know some people disagree on this. Some people go back and forth, but this is what I've done. Mine's not above a 3.0, so I don't put it on there.
Is that major or overall?
Put your higher one. Yeah, just specify.
That's why I asked.
Yeah. So, and then your courses. So this is another thing a lot of people disagree on. But every computer science student, every single university in the world probably is taking data structures, right? So if I were you, I would mention the classes that are above your 130s, specific to the position that you're applying for. So if you're applying for a security internship, make sure you mention like 152, 153, right? Those classes. Obviously, there are exceptions to this, right? Like a lot of you are underclassmen, and for you guys, it's important to put what courses you've done because they want to know how far you are in your CS career. And I guess don't just list like the name, right? Don't say like CS 130 because you're like, what the hell is that? List like data structures, right? I guess like since this is a career fair, and if this your resume is for a career fair, they're probably familiar with the course numbers and everything that the school offers. So that's not a super big deal. But pretty much play this by ear, right? And ask around for people's feedback on your course section. Next slide, please. Experience. So include your, so this is if you have work experience, right? Include your job title, company name, start and end dates, and location. So those are the things I definitely mentioned. Don't write paragraphs, right? So if you're writing paragraphs, it's hard to read. The thing is, recruiters look at resumes very quickly, and they'll just glance at them, right? So if it seems too wordy, if it seems too text heavy, they'll be like, forget it, I don't even want to read this, right? So bullet points, and keep it short and concise. Also, don't be redundant, right? So if you're a software developer, like don't start all your bullet points with develop apps, develop this, develop that, right? Because we know that we developed it if you're a software developer. So this is one of the biggest things. If you take one thing away, this next slide, next point right here. Phrase experience is like this, right? Implemented X using Y, which resulted in Z. And people say, so what does that mean? I guess I can show my resume in a second. But so basically, talk about what you did, right? Talk about how you did it, and talk about what did that work do, right? So a lot of people, good resumes and bad resumes, are filtered out by this Z aspect, right? People don't talk about the impact of their work. So let's say I wrote like, I created a new like API, right? And I wrote it in a language, right? And then to anyone, that would be like, all right, what's the big deal, right? And what if I mentioned this API brought down like a response time from 1 second to 10 milliseconds, right? That's like a 100x reduction, and that shows that your code had a big impact on the work that you did. So that Z right there, that's very important. And if possible, try to quantify this in a number, right? Try to quantify it in like time reduction, percentage reduction, or increase, or like a dollar amount. Like so, say your work brought like another $1,000 to the company or something, right? Try to quantify that as much as you can. Next slide. Oh yeah, projects. So projects are a key thing that separates your resumes from other people, along with your experience, right? So a lot of you freshmen and sophomores who probably don't have an internship yet, this is how you can differentiate yourself from all the other resumes out there, right? So projects are like pretty much, for at least if you're CS, it's code that you've written, right? And so the projects that you did independently of class are more interesting. And the reason I say this is because if you took 133, like every CS upper division student, you probably all made dog catcher, right? So if you list dog catcher on your resume, they'll know like, okay, everyone here's done dog catcher, right? But let's say you worked on an Android app in your own free time, or you did something for senior project, right? Those are the kinds of projects that be like, oh, I've never seen this before, right? And especially when you're applying at a career fair, locally, where everyone's done the same thing, doing these kinds of small things that differentiate yourself from others, there's a lot of incentive. And if it was a group project, mention it. Again, remember, a lot of like programmers can't work with each other. So if you can, that gives you a huge benefit in showing that it's by you did something in a group. And briefly list the technology and tools you used to develop that project, right? So if you did it in Python with like React on the front end or something, like mention that. And just like your experience, try to word it in the XYZ format, right? Implemented X using Y or something. Yeah.
Do you list the software development lifecycle, like Scrum or whatever you use?
Yeah, if you did it for a project, you might want to mention it once. Yeah, it's like use in a Scrum team, right? But try to keep that concise as much as you can, right? Should be like 3 or 4 words. Yeah. Next slide. Oh yeah, skills. So these are your skills. So as a software, like or as a CS student, you probably know like languages, frameworks, tools, right? So you know Python, you know Java. So order your languages by how well you know them, right? So if you took an x86 assembly class at some point, but you don't know anything about x86 assembly, you probably shouldn't put that on your resume. Also, don't include text editors or Office Suite. I know some people say like, you should put Microsoft Office, but it's 2017. I think everyone knows Office nowadays. But you should put like databases you're familiar with, right? So say you're good with MySQL, you should mention that. Like if you're good with Git, mention Git because everyone uses Git now. And you should also mention enterprise IDEs, right? Like IntelliJ, NetBeans, things that you might use in production. I wouldn't mention things like JGraphs because JGraphs is just like an educational tool, but definitely those kinds of things. So something like Excel, like a lot of people say, like I guess this isn't super relevant to software engineers, but like if you know like Excel VBA, you know pivot tables and all this stuff, yeah, you can mention Excel because there's a lot of advanced things in Excel. But yeah, the other thing is like but the thing I mentioned earlier, right? If you know a language but you don't know it super well and you're not sure about putting it on there, don't put it on there because you'll get grilled for it. Next slide. So extracurriculars, right? So this is another really important thing that you can do is list the activity you did, your level of involvement, and what you achieved, right? So if you won something at a hackathon, mention that. If you're president of a club, mention like that you're president, what you did, what that club did. And if you win like Dean's List or something, you obviously mention that. And yeah, volunteer work. So this is all fairly common. This. And all these slides, I'll post these slides somewhere, so don't feel like you have to jot everything down. Okay, so a bit more about accomplishments. I kind of had this slide later, so you can have a separate section. I like to just tie it into my other section, so if I won a hackathon and I mentioned the hackathon in my project, I would just say that I won this hackathon. I wouldn't like mention it again, just for the sake of redundancy. But if you have some other major accomplishments, like a scholarship or something you've gotten, mention that in your accomplishment section. Next slide. So about the style, right? So again, like we have all these sections that we're writing on our resume, but like what should it look like, right? So the first thing is white space is important. So making sure you have enough white space and it's not too text heavy. You don't want to draw like you don't want to look at your resume and see like, wow, this is a lot of text. Because when it's a lot of text, recruiters don't spend that much time reading it, right? They'll probably just scan over it for maybe like 10 seconds. That's about all the time you have to make an impression on a person of whether or not you get a job. So you have to realize that make it readable, make it clean, make it clear. Like the important words need to pop out, right? So your experiences, like what you did. So yeah, these are very important things to keep in mind. And I think a lot of this, I'll show my resume, and hopefully a lot of like these things that I talk become pretty clear. So, oh yeah, so this is one thing about resume parsers. So this is not super relevant to the career fair, but a lot of times they'll say like, oh, apply online, right? And when you apply online, you'll find that like if you have a resume a certain way, it'll completely like ruin all the formatting, right? So you'll have like weird bullets, you'll have like maybe like ASCII characters which didn't convert properly. So keep a clean text copy of your resume. What I mean by that, or sorry, a plain text copy of your resume. So that means you're just like space or tab delimited, just all the same content you have, just without like the formatting. So it's very easy to make this. Just make it in a text file and just keep it handy, and then copy paste it in if you ever need to. Okay, so we can look at my resume. That one. That should work. That didn't work. Oh, okay. Okay, so my resume. So there's a couple things I didn't do well, like I mentioned with the name thing. So I had to shrink my name to try to get it on one page. But I did keep everything on one page. I did have to remove one of my previous experiences and stuff, but that's what I had to do. So you can see like I have the clearly defined sections, right? I have a contact section, my education, projects, activities down there, and then experiences on the and skills on the right side. So I guess like walking through like let's just like pick one experience, right? Let's talk about how I kind of formatted it in that way. Scroll down. Let's just talk about this one. So Aircoil is like a startup that I co-founded in the past. So what I talked about what it was, right? It was IoT air quality monitoring startup, right? And how it came to be. I want Angel Hack Silicon Valley and place an accelerator, which is 2% of all competitors. So when I say 2% of all competitors, you know that this is pretty legit because only 2% of people got in, right? That's kind of showing the impact of my work. And then developed, pitched, and grew the MVP, which led to Lab 360's $100,000 incubation prize. So in that one line, I didn't have enough space to say things like, oh, I created like a REST API in Python. I did all this stuff, right? So when you have a lot of things you want to say, but you can't always say it, sometimes you have to keep it minimized. And that's why I try to develop, pitch, and create a minimum viable product. Because if someone was interested in this, right, they could ask me more about it. But I gave the initial impression that I built a lot of the initial product, which led to getting investment money. And then let's see another thing. I can talk about, yeah, so you'll notice that I have a lot of links on my resume. And this is because I apply online to a lot of places, right? And when you apply online, you have PDFs. So you can just insert links, and if you click on any one of these, right, it'll go to the appropriate site. But that's not going to work. But, oh, that did work. Okay. Yeah, so that's, and then I guess I can do another thing. Can you scroll up? I'll talk about like what I did at, so Zillow has been my most recent job, and I can talk about like, so data science, right? Prototyped a regression model in Python for finding potential rental investments using Airbnb listings. Second place at Hack Week, right? So I talked about what I did is I made a regression model, how I did it in Python, and then like again I kind of combined the what I did and how I did there because like what this model did is it found potential rental investments, and what was the big deal on it, right? So I got second place at our Hack Week, which is like our internal hackathon. So that's one quick thing on resumes. I'll have my resume. The link is in the slides as well if you want to spend more time looking at it. And if you have, and again, if you have like any questions, don't forget to Google Slides link that we have up there. Oh, okay. We can do that later. Okay, so yeah, what do I not do well? It's sometimes it's a bit disorganized, right? I kind of wish things lined up a little bit better, and it's not great for resume parsing. So if I ever put this in, it would completely mess everything up. So that's why I keep a plain text copy. But despite all the content I have on my resume, I've been able to manage my white space appropriately, right? And I keep my bullets very concise. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so personal side. So I'll talk about this real quick. We had a talk at Data Science Club, I think last semester, where we did like a how to make a personal website kind of walkthrough. But the reason I strongly suggest personal sites is, yeah, it's an easy way for you to display all the work you've done and expand a bit more on the resume, right? So say you worked on one project on your resume which you really liked and you want to talk more about it, but you don't have enough space to fit it on like one small section of your resume. So if you can go to your personal site, you can talk a bit more about like how you did it and what the project did. And again, like these personal sites are completely up to you. Like so mine, if you go to mine, mine is like super simple, right? It's like there's nothing to it. There's just what I did do is I kept a way to contact my GitHub, my LinkedIn. So if you were, or my Twitter, but follow me. But so yeah, so I just talked about what I do currently, what I did in the past, and then it's like one of the things I do is I try to learn things on my own. So like an independent education section, and then you can go to the free side. Then you can go to someone like Matt over there, who has his personal site. So he talks a bit more about some of the things he's done. Matt?
Wait, refresh.
Refresh.
It's not that fast.
Refresh again. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so this is Matt's site. So if you click on the Minecraft ones. So I think Matt had a section on his resume about one of the projects he did, which was on Minecraft mods, right? But he kept a very small section here, but he used his personal site to talk a bit more about some of the work he did on that project. So this is a good way, again, to like sell yourself. And I've put Google Analytics on my personal site, so when I noticed that when I applied to places, people actually click on the site. So people definitely look at it, so it's not something to ignore. Right. Next slide. Oh, cover letters. I guess this is again more for like applying online than applying in person, but yeah. So for a startup, I say always write a cover letter. A lot of people disagree with me, but I say like if you're a small company, the culture really matters. So like what your values are versus what the company's values are, and you want to convey that in a cover letter. So yeah, so talk about the culture and the mission of the company and how that relates to you, and talk about the engineering challenges the company has that you find interesting, right? So like say like Pinterest has like really cool libraries in Python that they use for like caching, right? And I found that was pretty cool. And I also liked how Pinterest mentions basically things about how they give engineers a lot of ownership of their work and how they value that like new hires always commit code on the first day, right? Those are specific things I liked about Pinterest that I mentioned in my comment. And for big companies, I say no, like don't do it, right? Because they get like thousands of applicants and they're like, oh, we don't have enough time. So Google doesn't even let you upload a cover letter when you apply online. So now for the career fair. So I talked a bit about resumes, talked a bit about cover letters. So what should you do in advance, right? Before you get there, have lots of resumes printed out, right? You don't want to be, every morning, like, of the career fair, there's like a giant line outside the printer of people who are trying to print like 20 resumes and trying to like sprint to the career fair. So do this in advance, right? Don't be the person that's there that has to wait 30 minutes to get the resume printed out. Research the companies beforehand, right? So like this seems pretty obvious to do, but a lot of people don't do it. I've even had people like who apply to be like senior engineers at like Zillow or whatever, and they're like, yeah, so what does Zillow do? I'm like, dude, you could have spent like 5 seconds and like Google what we do. And it just shows that you don't really care, you're just trying to find a job, right? So make sure you show that you actually want to work at that company. You don't just want a job. Like I understand maybe you just want a job, right? But if you give that attitude off, they can tell. So all the information of all the companies that are there on the ECS career site. So I think it's on our anyway, we can show that.
I don't know the
Yeah, and
whole thing there.
if you go to our College of Engineering website, there's like a career fair link, and then there's like a list of like all the companies there. So, and then the majors that they're hiring for. So if you see computer science, you see EE, you see CE, whatever you are, definitely like go through and like read up a little bit about that company, right? You don't have to know like every detail about them, but just know a bit about them. Yeah, and dress appropriately. So wear a dress shirt and good jeans or slacks. My personal opinion is you don't have to wear a tie or a jacket if you're a guy. But I don't know. I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt, but at the same time, it's just like it is computer science, but more relaxed. Like this is pretty formal for work too. Like I wouldn't even dress as formally. So like know the culture of the company, right? So if you're trying to apply somewhere that has a very like a suit and tie like kind of culture, like definitely dress that way. But if you're applying to a startup, a lot of times when people dress very formally to startup interviews, it kind of raises a red flag, right? Because it shows this person doesn't know the culture of the company. Like there's like actually Peter Thiel, who's an investor, he was saying that he would never invest in a company where the founder came wearing a suit and tie because he knew that that founder didn't have a background, that they didn't come from like a background where they valued the engineering work they did more. So the guy knows his stuff, so that was his philosophy, that's his philosophy. But yeah, so that's one thing to keep in mind. Next slide, sorry. Oh yeah, so how should I talk to someone, right? So here you are, you have your resume in your hand, you're walking up to a company that you're interested in, right? First of all, know who you're talking to, okay? So engineers and recruiters will have different kinds of knowledge and they'll engage with you in different kinds of ways. So you don't want to ask a recruiter about like their Java frameworks that they use, right? Because they'd be like, I could care less, I'm just here to find people. So know exactly like when you introduce them and they ask them what they do as well. So introduce yourself, right? So learn like how to do a proper handshake, right? And say like, hi, my name is blank, and I'm currently, okay, this is pretty weird now that I look at it. But I'll read out my elevator pitch in the next slide. But yeah, look people in their eye. This is like definitely like an understated thing that people don't do. Is like when you're communicating with someone, make eye contact. And again, like be yourself, right? Don't talk super formally if that's not who you are, right? Because a lot of times people, they find it just as awkward as you do. So don't try to make yourself sound weird. And ask if there's a way to stay in touch afterwards, right? A lot of people are kind of hesitant to give out their contact, but if they like you, they might, right? And just sending that quick thank you email and say, hey, like this is nice to be seeing you again. Let's keep in touch, right? That's just a very simple thing you can do. It doesn't take very long, but it goes a long way. So elevator pitch, right? So this is generally what I say when I'm if I'm at a career fair and I'm handing my resume to a company, right? Say, hi, my name is Varun, and I'm a senior engineering student here at Sac State, computer science major. I spent last summer working at Zillow working on mobile API team, and I'm looking for full-time positions surrounding computer science. Tell me a bit about yourself, what your company does, and what you do. Right? So I don't have to read that out loud just because it's very simple to say, right? Just about yourself. But these are the kinds of things you gotta hit, right? You gotta hit what year you are, what you're looking for, what your major is, maybe some relevant thing you want to talk about what you did in the past. If you're a freshman or sophomore, it's not a big deal. They know that you're not probably super experienced. But yeah, these are. This is kind of how my elevator pitch is. And you can structure yours very similarly. I think everyone has pretty much the same thing. So. So questions to ask, right? So this is another really important slide because a lot of times when you're at a career fair, when you're on a phone interview, they say, "Do you have any questions for me?" Right? And too often people say, "No, I don't." And this again is like a pretty big red flag for people that are interviewing you, right? So if you ever don't know what questions to ask, this is a very good list of questions to go through, right? And again, know who you're talking to, right? You're not going to ask a recruiter about their tech stack, right? But you can ask them about what kind of positions you're looking for, what's the company culture like, right? And company culture, work-life balance, these are all very important things, right? You might not realize this right now, but as you start to work at like different kinds of companies at different sizes, you'll start to notice things about like company culture or something that really sticks out and things that you align your values with. I think that should be good. Yeah, so following up, like I mentioned earlier, sending a thank you email if they give you a contact goes pretty far. Yeah, that's it. All right, so I think we have a little bit of time for questions.
So what's the
Oh, perfect.
whichever thing you have?
That's fine. Matt, do you have? I think Matt was just gonna.
Would it be okay to have non-relevant work experience on your resume?
I think it is. I think if you have like even if it's not computer science related, right, just showing that you've had a job and you've had responsibilities and you followed through, that's also a very important thing to have on your resume. But if you can try to balance it out with some more like CS related projects. I know not everyone has much of experience, right? So, but like if you see that you don't have that many technical things in your resume, it should be kind of like a red flag to you that hey, maybe I should start working on some projects in my free time or something just to boost my resume up. Yeah. Next question.
Um,
Oh, okay. I guess. Oh,
It's okay. It's okay. But go ahead.
I'm a freshman. I want to do hackathons and events like those, but I'm afraid I suck because I am just learning to program and no one will be in my team or pick me because of my lack of experience. What do I do?
So actually at hackathons, there's always mentors walking around, right? There's always people who are ready there to help you. And like one thing I suggest is like even if you can barely write Hello World, right? Go to a hackathon because like that trial by fire experience is like super invaluable, right? Just learning when you know nothing and having like 24 hours to sit there and just focus and learn on your own. You'll learn more in that than you will like 2 semesters of CS. I guarantee you that. So yeah, but even then, there's like a lot of clubs on. Like I know ACM. Like you can talk to almost most people in this room. And they're happy to help you out. You'll be surprised about like how open and friendly people are if you just ask for help. So that's definitely one thing. Did you want to ask?
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you. You know how Intel have a talent hunt where they take their resumes online, they'll approach you. So do you recommend we do that? Or?
I'm not too sure about it, but generally my advice is the more often you can hand a resume, like your order of like applying to jobs should be like directly handing someone a resume, right? Second would be like getting a referral from someone who works there, and like third at the lowest I put applying online, right? Because when you apply online, there's like thousands of other people, right? But like ideally you want to get higher and higher up than you can. Do you want to read another one off the slides?
Yeah, so there are a couple that are like the same. It's like freshmen or people who are learning programming who want to get internships. How should they go about doing that?
Okay, so I think like even right now as like a freshman, it might be kind of hard for you to get an internship. But I think like what you can do right now is like look to the future, right? So maybe you can't get an internship this summer, but like what can I do between now and applying for next summer that'll make sure I get at least my resume looked at, right? And this starts with like, I think the biggest thing you can do on your own without anything else is just projects, right? So find like even like team up with a few other people who are like in your year, right? Like, hey, can we learn how to do web development? Let's take a Coursera class, or let's just try something out, right? And getting that kind of experience on your resume is a lot more valuable than just listing classes. So it takes a lot of self-studying, it takes a lot of motivation, but if you do that, I guarantee you that like the efforts will pay off. And again, like talk to anyone here, tell people that you want to work on something, and I'm sure there'll be people who want to help you.
What companies in Sacramento hire computer science and engineering students, and on top of Intel, HP, Micron, SMUD, and government agencies?
So there's actually a pretty good startup scene in Sacramento. I don't know how many of these companies actually come on campus, and I don't know how many of them are looking for new hires, but even aside from the like those big companies and like the government agencies, there's also companies that do work like they do like small contracting jobs. I know like one of the companies I worked at, SimSoft, I think they're coming. That was my first internship, but they're coming here on campus as well, and they pretty much do like contracting work. So there's a lot of those types of firms that are looking to hire, but a lot of early stage companies too. Yeah.
There's like a hacker lab here in Sacramento where like a lot of companies go and show off like go presentations. So sometimes you go there and create your resume and talk to them to see it.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
have a lot of networking opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of those meetup groups I mentioned, a lot of them meet at the Hacker Lab itself too.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like getting involved in that scene is super helpful for all of you. Anyone else? Yeah, sure.
So everybody going to the career fair, there's going to be a lot of resumes being passed around and stuff.
Yeah.
Does using it, like when you print out your resume, the type of paper you use, does that kind of help sometimes?
Okay, so people say resume paper, and honestly, I have no idea what the hell resume paper is. It's just slightly thicker paper. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Like between cardstock and regular paper.
Is it? Okay. I've never seen resume paper in my life, and my personal opinion is the content matters more than what the kind of paper is, right? Okay. So, yeah. Yeah?
I'm just curious, like, what amount of color do you think like we should have on our resumes? I've seen some that are just completely black and white, some have a touch of color here and there, like in the headers.
Right. Yeah, so I kept a bit of color in mind just because I thought it made, I just want it to be visually appealing, right? And so when you print it out, you won't always print it out in color, but ideally if yours is color, make sure it prints out well black and white, right? So I would say if you have like text and you want to kind of differentiate close text that's like close bounded, use color. Color is a good way to kind of work the white space. But yeah, when you're applying online, you can use color all the time too. But like, don't make it like that rainbow font or anything. That's kind of, don't make it like visually like burning. And okay. Is there any other questions or anything else from this? Okay, cool. So if you need any help with resumes, I will be able to help people Fridays after 6 if you want to get your resume looked at. The only thing I'd recommend is just go through the slides and kind of follow along with the suggestions I put before you give your resume. And also next Wednesday in here, at the same time, Matt and I did drop-in interviews last week. We'll be having drop-in resume help. This like 11 to 4-ish? Yeah, 11 to 4-ish. So right here, Riverside 29, next Wednesday right after ACM. Yeah.
If we can't meet up with you, can we email you?
Yeah, that's another thing. Oh, I should probably put my contact. Anyway, but yeah, you feel free to email me or message me on Facebook if you have any other questions, even if it's like resume, career related, anything. I'm always happy to help people. So yeah, just feel free to reach out. Anyone else? All right, cool. Thanks for listening, guys. Hopefully that was